What's good, family? What's good? You know, the other day I was listening to a brother speak, and he went on a little bit of a rant, and he was talking about how his elders, people from my generation, had failed him. I think that's what he was talking about because that was what I was getting from his conversation, and okay. And this brother, I say young, but he young compared to me, but he not young. He like in his mid-40s. So that shit got to thinking. I didn't answer him right then. A friend of mine jumped right in and started trying to, do a rebuttal to everything the guy was saying. But, I thought about it before I make a comment on it. And I got to thinking, where was I in my mid-40s? Where was I? What was I doing? How was I living? So, I could advise him and help him navigate through his mid-40s. I was in upstate New York. I was working at a place and a job that I absolutely really didn't like. I mean, when I first started the job, it was okay. It got, pretty decent for a little while. And then by the time I was in my mid-40s, that job really sucked. I was working also at a community center to earn, money to help me make it from week to week. But altogether, I was only pulling in maybe $400 a week. That was take home. And so I was struggling, man. I had to make my rent out of that. I had to keep my lights on. I had to keep my transportation going. That meant car insurance because I was never able to really buy a car to make payments on because that can sink you. So you got to get a cash car, but you got to keep insurance on it. You got to keep it running. So I had to do that. I had to keep my lights on. Like I said, I had to keep internet flow going. I think I broke it down to five things: transportation, rent, utilities, car insurance, and internet. And I had to pay to make sure those things was covered every month. Child support came off the top. I didn't even see that money. That's one of the reasons I had to work more than one job. I had to keep the child support locked into one paycheck. You feel me? So I'll work all week at that fucking job, and that'd be all my child support money. They'd give me a check for $45, $50. But on the other hand, I'd have a whole paycheck at this job over here, this gig over here, that wasn't getting hit with child support payments. I don't know how it is down here, but up there, they don't care where your money coming from, what check is coming from, as long as they're getting that obligation every week. So I was doing that. Plus, I was sending money down to my kids' my kids' mother on an as needed basis. You feel me? As needed. Usually, I waited for the kids to ask me because I knew I was paying child support. She was making more money than me. Cool. I struggled through my mid-40s like that. I limped all the way to my 50th birthday. And no, past that, actually. I paid child support till I was in early 50s by the time I was done. But I was able to catch up more and gain a little ground after I turned 50. But in my 40s, which is what I'm talking about, I was struggling my ass off on $400 a week. The point is, motherfuckers nowadays in their mid-40s is doing a lot better than the average black man from my generation was. You got a lot more shit to work with, a lot more ways to make money. I had to do it anyway by the sweat of my fucking brow. So that's tip number one. Struggle. Struggle through it, whatever it is, struggle to fuck through it in your mid-40s. Sometimes I have enough money to do nothing but buy myself a six-pack. But I would buy that fucking 6-pack. And then I just make it to the next week. And you just, it's just one thing after another. But you get through. You just got to keep living and get through. And the little things you can do to keep yourself, grounded, do that. A hobby that don't cost no money, maybe a confidant or a girlfriend or something, just to keep you grounded all the way through your fucking 40s. If you can, you should get married. But I'll talk about that later. And then when I turned 50, I started to see light at the end of the tunnel. I started to see, the end of certain things, not the least of which was child support. I was down to my last child, and she was almost aged out. So I could see light at the end of the tunnel. I was able to save a little bit of money. See, you reach that top of that, you reach that peak, and then you start to come on down the other side, and things actually get easier. But the trick is, and this is tip number 2 to making it true, the tip is get old. Outlive all of your problems and your situations, because they do go away. But if you're healthy and if you're lucky, your black ass can live past all that, and you'll be able to save some money. And you'll be able to buy yourself something as you get older as a reminder of how hard you worked all them years. And by that time, because I'm still working now, by the way. So I started working when I was 14, 12 or 14. That's 52 fucking years of work. That is a goddamn body of work. 52 years. And often had more than one job. So you gotta have that staying power in that too. You gotta have that drive that it takes to get up every morning before the sunrise and take your ass in to a fucking gig you hate to get that little bit of money so that you can pull some shit out of society so that you can live and your kids can live. And you struggle through and your kids get grown. And if you're relatively healthy, by the time your kids get grown, you got a lot of knowledge in your head, you got a strong work ethic, and you can, in 2 years, you can repair what you think is bad credit, and then you can start getting some shit. So when people see me, or people my age, we got a few things. Nothing to talk about, nothing compared to what white people our age have, but we got a few things. One, we outlived all of our problems, or most of them anyway, because problems never really go away. But we outlived the stupid shit. And 2, we bought shit on credit. It don't really belong to us. The bank let us say it's ours, but it don't really belong to us. That's how that works. You got to realize, for one thing, in the United States, nobody ever really owns anything anyway. You might own the shit that's inside, but the main body of your investment, your house, you don't own that shit. And when you do pay for it outright, you still got to keep paying for it through taxes. So you never really own it. But the point is, it's all an illusion. The struggle is real. All the shit you see around somebody like me is an illusion. The stress is real. And if you can live through the stress and get by that, then you'll get to be my age. And when you're a black person, let me tell you something else. When you're a black person, I got 2 words of advice for you. 2 words of advice for you. 1 is get married. Get married. 2 is carry insurance. Get married and carry insurance. So this video getting a little long now, but I'm going to stop right here. And in the next video, I'm going to tell you about getting married and carrying fucking insurance. That's it for y'all, y'all. Stay tuned for those 2 videos. All right, hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.